Is welcome to the regular meeting of Commission, city staff, members of the public participating at the Aruga Family Recreation Center in accordance with public health guidelines for in-person meeting and public participating remotely. Introduce the Commissioner, Commissioner Jeff Brass, Commissioner Mother Lee, Commissioner staff persons are Commissioner Holland and all recreation coordinator Keith O'Hara, the staff supervisor monitors. I think we'll have some please take
Thank you, Chair. For members of the public who are attending this meeting virtually and wish to provide public comment after the chair calls for public comment on the item you wish to speak on, please engage the raise hand feature at the bottom of your screen. For those who are calling in from a landline or cell phone, please press *9 to raise your virtual hand. For members of the public attending in person, there are speaker cards available on the table. Please complete one and turn it into staff before public comment is called for the item you wish to speak on. If there are a large number of public commenters, the time limit may be adjusted by the chair in order to allow everyone a chance to comment. When your turn for public comment arrives, staff will unmute you. With that, I'll turn the meeting to the chair.
Public comment and she gets make this commission once and public comment for 3 minutes. Please clearly state your name, address, or political jurisdiction in which you live. Therefore, commission cannot respond to non-agenda issues. General
Sorry, Ashley's doing this one.
That's okay.
sorry.
I got nervous for a second.
At this time, if you'd like to make a public comment on any item not on the agenda, please notify the staff liaison by using the raise hand feature at the bottom of your Zoom screen. If you're dialing in, you can use *9 to engage the raise hand function. There's no public
comment. One update from playground. Various city parks, staff will make a presentation beginning this session.
Thank you. Yes, for those of you who don't know, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Doug Rosa. I'm the newly appointed park supervisor. So we have a PowerPoint. Can we? Perfect. All right, so playground equipment update for everybody. Awesome.
It's just a little slow down.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, yeah, it is.
that's okay. So the goal of Parks and Rec is to have an integrated, equitable, and inclusive park recreation system that serves the community as a whole, which is connected and accessible. Park playgrounds are integral components of a comprehensive park and recreation system, promoting physical, social, and cognitive development while fostering community engagement and inclusivity. It's vital that playgrounds within the city of Menlo Park meet the goals and support the well-being of the community and maintained so that they continue to be inviting and safe. All right, so most of you may have seen already that our beautiful Willow Oaks Park, right up Willow Road, has recently been renovated and reopened. We had a reopening event June 29th, which was really great, tons of turnout. The improvements of the park include new accessible playground for all ages and abilities, an accessible pathway, benches surrounding the park, and a new dog. Additional projects that we kind of pertained to this were resurfacing of the tennis courts, sealing of the basketball courts, and new public restrooms. Burgess Park Playground, otherwise known as Treehouse, was another park that opened this year for us. We completed it in late May of '24. The improvements include additional accessible playground equipment, rubberized surrounding for all play areas, and ADA parking. Seminary Oaks Park has been closed for some time now due to some safety issues that we discovered during our monthly park inspection. Some of the repairs include the wave climber, which is a fancy word for the 3-path slide. That is going to be replaced, as well as the zip slide, the spiral tube, which is kind of the purple one you can see there in the photo. All tube. The timeline for this is got a little bit of fluidity to it, but we nailed it down. Demo for those parts is going to begin within the next couple of weeks. And phase 2 will be obviously the drop ship of all of the parts and materials and hardware to our installer, with a tentative completion of the full install and reopening to the public in the second week of September. Milan Park. The El Capitan track ride was, well, a portion of it was demoed about a year or so ago, due to some public requests and surrounding noise and so part of our process moving forward is to really look at what can be used in that space should the city choose to build something different or move the zipline structure that's there now. Some of the ideas that we floated are additional seating with single standing canopies, another kind of smaller play structure that's geared towards smaller children, or some sort of kind of combination play structure that doesn't have the mechanical parts. We can invite those children that participate in the inclusive side of it. Any questions?
Happy to do any comment on this.
This time, if you'd like to make a public comment, please use the raise hand feature at the bottom of your Zoom screen. If you're dialing in, you can use *9 to engage the raise hand function. No public comment.
Thank you. So, any questions?
Yeah, one thing I noticed, you kind of just skipped over on the slides was cost. I don't know how much detail you guys can go into, but having visited both these parks before and after the renovation, it's helpful to kind of get a ballpark figure of like how much it costs. So if you could elaborate on that. And then a second part would be more generally, how are parks targeted in terms of which get improvements on which day versus others? Who ultimately makes that decision? Because having been on this commission for, I think, over a year now, I don't think we as a body were asked, you know, should we target Willow? I mean, I guess Willow Oaks was part of the master plan, but for example, Burgess, that was kind of a surprise.
Sure, great question. Thank you. So for cost, I don't have that information at hand. I can definitely do a little bit of research and engage with our various departments that handle that side of the ball and maybe follow up.
Yeah, I just did quick research. So it's estimated that Willow Oaks is about 3.8 million and Burgess was about 1 million.
Thanks. And then it's kind of part of your second question, how do we determine which parks are renovation, so to speak? Again, I'm still learning how that process happens, but I think that the biggest contributing factor is age, use, maintenance burden, things of that sort. How much is it costing the city to make these kinds of repetitive repairs or things like that? And really, what's the impact and positive impact going to be on the community and whatever district that happens to be in?
Gotcha. The one thing I would say is Carl Park in Bellhaven. The equipment there is several years old. The swings have been missing for over 2 months now. I believe they were damaged because a dog had chewed on the plastic. So I visit the park every day, but I just haven't seen them being replaced, so. Again, if we could get a sense of when repairs would happen, or maybe even a complete renovation for that park would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Just on the swing note, right? So the way that the city relationship works with our vendors is we have one preferred distributor that we can procure replacement parts from. And sometimes that vendor only has access to certain companies that manufacture the equipment. So the swings, a great example where we looked at different material that the actual basket swing is made from and tried to find a solution that has a little bit more durability, but also meets the safety requirements. So we don't have this repetitive problem. I think we've replaced those swings about half a dozen times over the last maybe couple of years. So all of those things kind of fall in the process to kind of determine, how far we want to go. But to answer your question more pointedly, on the order for what will eventually be at Seminary, we piggyback the swing replacements for that. So next few weeks.
I've got a question. So how do you determine what what activities or structures are put into the parks? So I heard about Burgess Park, there was I've been hearing people want swings, and how does the public get input, or is it something the staff studies, or how's that work?
Again, that's information that I would still learn.
I can speak a little bit to that,
Sure.
but go ahead.
Yeah.
Keep going.
My best guess would be that internal departments would do an evaluation on maybe what was existing and see about upgrades and follow kind of the master plan and those things we talked about on the first slide about inclusivity, community, bringing together, activating those kind of fun things that kids like to do in parks. And try to meet those goals through the new apparatus that we put in. But again, a little bit more on how device.
Yeah,
Sure.
So for Burgess Park, which is the most recent one that I can remember, the Public Works Department hired a consultant, a designer, who went out and talked to people. They had signs up at the park, so they talked to park users and had a survey up for a few months where they were gathering information about what you want to see in the park. We're going to redesign it. So they got all that information, came back with 2 or 3 possible design scenarios, brought them to the Parks and Rec Commission, where we got a chance to look at them and the public had a chance to comment on them. And then they went to the city council for the final decision on what was chosen. The city council listens to the input from the public, and they listen to what the Parks and Rec Commission say about the proposed things that come before them. But they're usually the ones who make the decision on things that are, for the capital improvement project budget, which is what all these big park projects fall under. It's a long list of 80 things, which is underpass for the cow train and resurfacing the roads, but also the parks, but also solar improvements to the buildings. It's a big long list. And they decide every year when they're doing their budget prioritization, how much they're going to fund for capital improvement projects and which projects are going to sort of move to the top of the list. We do use that Parks and Rec Facilities Master Plan, which has sort of the long range view of which parks should be prioritized. But sometimes things pop up, like pickleball, which nobody knew about 5 years ago, and now is a big deal. And now there's a lot of interest in the community in getting more facilities, but we have to, we move deliberately, I guess is the nice way of saying it. It's slow sometimes to get all those things through. So hopefully that helps both
That's a
your
great
question
description.
and Ron's question as well.
Much appreciated. Yeah, and I'm just in the walking around phase, and you just hear people like, why isn't this there or that? It's the solution is, well, participate in the survey, show up at the Parks and Rec meetings and get your voice heard. So.
Yes, absolutely. You show up and you say what you're interested in and what you know, the commission is a great place for that. We're gonna talk about it a little later in the meeting as a forum for input for the community. Because the city council takes the sort of vetting and decision-making that the commissions do and uses them to inform the decisions that they make. Great.
Any other questions or comments? I have one question. When I moved to Willow, I noticed that between the playground.
Great question. We did receive quite a bit of input about, the actual playground itself. And my understanding was that there was some concern about, children and the pet, the dogs having a bar style gate where children might put their hands in there and maybe a dog might, think they're playing, and so there was a safety kind of concern for some of the residents who gave us input. I think the other component to it was, having, the saying is 90 degrees of separation, seeing dogs around, kids playing. I think that the idea behind that was, two separate spaces that, were kind of in the same area.
Why?
Yeah,
It's a really nice green.
yes. I think that comes down to how our engineers kind of look at the cohesiveness of the similarity of the structures of each of our parks. All of our fencing is that kind of dark color, even around some of our sports fields. Willow Oaks, baseball field and soccer field, the same style fencing is there. And they maybe thought process just some consistency and similarity between the color. But I agree, maybe green might have changed. That particular material, to be painted, it would require stripping of the actual powder coating that's there now, and then continually keeping up with it, continuing things like that.
So yes, but not easy. I think if we had- Yeah.
Yeah.
Financially prudent.
Okay.
Thank you.
Moving on to the next page.
I just have one more comment. So, I've been to both of the regulated parks fairly often since they opened, and I think feedback, just anecdotal feedback, has been wonderful. I think most folks really love it. I use the dog park, I use the kid portion as well. But with this increased use, I don't know if we could add more trash pickup on weekends, because I noticed like Sunday morning, like all the trash cans are full. Or Saturday morning after birthday party, not just because given that there's going to be a higher level of use, if we could kind of do more trash pickup. It's a minor detail, that'd be great.
Yeah, I've consulted with our vendor who services all of the cans at our parks, and we are discussing a more frequent pickup. The other option is that we're looking at installing more receptacles, so that over the weekend when trash service is available, these will be more receptacles. So one is over.
Any questions? Item which.
Thanks very much, Doug.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You did great.
Appreciate all the time.
Yeah, the renovations are great. Just
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
Next item is E1, staff make a brief introduction to the second.
Thank you, Vice Chair. So on this next item, the Council on the Parks and Recreation Commission work plan for 23-24. We would like the commission to review and prepare the report out. The report out is scheduled to be tentatively on September 10th to City Council for this year that was just completed. There are 7, just to go back to the work plan from the year that was just completed, there were 7 goals. And the work plan was in, or is in your packet. 3 of the main goals include being a public forum to provide public information and an opportunity for public discussion, supporting and advising the preparations and opening for the Belhaven Community Campus, and facilitating the goals of the Parks and Rec Facility Master Plan. But your work plan is in the packet. Additionally, in the staff report, there are some topics that the commission also reviewed, advised, and recommended. Some of those include the work plan for 23-24, department policy updates, including the scholarship policy and the event sponsorship policy, programming and policies for the new Belhaven Community Campus, recommending a focused addendum to the Parks Facility Master Plan to include pickleball. So all of those items are in your staff report.
At this time, if you'd like to make a public comment on this item, please notify the staff liaison by using the raise hand feature at the bottom of your Zoom screen. If you're dialing in, you can use star 9 to engage the raise hand function. No public.
And that's
Through the chair, if I could just briefly, so the report out is kind of one of the bookends of the formal interaction that the commission has with the city council every year. So the commission creates a work plan and they discuss it, and then they send it up to the city council for approval. And then on the other end of that is the commission goes to the city council and goes, this then was our work plan, and here's what we did, or here's something else that popped up, or here's some things that we're hearing about. That I've seen them take lots of different forms. Some of them are just written reports where here's what we did. Thank you very much. Sometimes the chair or vice chair will go, or our commissioner will go in front of the commission because they want to be able to address in front of the council and address the council on a certain issue. And the council will do some back and forth. So they can, and the form of the update can be a written report, or it could be like a PowerPoint, few short slides saying, here's what we did. And then sometimes there's some back and forth questions. Sometimes the council's just like, hey, and that's it. So it can be a relatively simple and painless process to sort of report out on the work of the commission from the past year. But happy to answer any questions you guys might have about how to do it.
when is this report being made?
So
September
10th. And Trisha and Sean and I can assist in kind of pulling it together.
That date, council meeting?
September 10th is the council meeting. It's a Tuesday night. And then usually the way the meetings go, council and more the city clerk kind of wants the report for the meeting at least a week in advance, so that they have enough time to like make sure they've got everything ready and get it all together for the packet. So we're talking early September.
So what's the assistance of staff we put this together?
Correct. You don't have to take our assistance if you don't want to. Perfectly happy to let you put it together by yourself if you want.
So we're taking the lead on this, and you're going to assist us. Is that the-
Yeah, well, or either way, if you guys discuss it, I mean, Trisha wrote in the staff report, sort of, here's the things we think you could call out in our list of accomplishments. We could make a slide deck out of that, or we could sort of write it up for you and let you take a look at it if you wanted to look at it at your August meeting, or we can even send it directly to you as the vice chair and say, how does this look? I guess it all depends on what you thought about the list of accomplishments that we had. Did you want to bring something else up to the council's attention that you worked on in the past year.
I think what we'd like to do is take first around that slides. And then do it at the next meeting.
Okay.
And we'll just see the.
Okay, I think that's fine. I think we can do that.
And I guess traditionally it's the chair or vice chair that presents, so I guess that's you.
Traditionally it is, but you guys can decide if somebody really wants to make that presentation in front of the city council, you can do it, or I've seen it done where the report out has gone in as something in the packet for the city council and not an in-person presentation. So it can work that way too.
Okay, I'd support the vice chair doing that.
I thought he was gonna volunteer.
I'll volunteer next year, but I don't know what's going on. I've been here 2.5 months, so I'll leave it to you.
That's a big ball drop to the deep end.
But I'd be glad to help out if you are getting help.
Let's take a look at it, we're gonna add it to the agenda next.
Okay, we can do that. Yeah, I think Tricia and I can get something together, and get it out. For the August meeting, and that way you all have a chance to look at it and go up, down. Okay,
Great.
but do in general, do the topics that Tricia put in the staff report look like good? Is there anything missing, anything that we need to add, anything you want to take out?
Which section is that? On which page?
E1 is the
E1. Background analysis, so. Oh, okay, that's there. It's starting with updated PRC work plans and
So the analysis lists out a few of the goals and then some, and then the topics that have been addressed.
okay.
And having sat through all those things with you guys, I can say it was quite a lot. So
Yeah. All the meetings.
yes, there was some really good. You certainly served as a public forum a few times. I would say. Yeah, for pickleball and for the BHCC naming process was also quite extensive. That was a lot of work by the commission, so.
Okay, let's move on to section 8, regular business. Approving minutes of June 26th regular meeting. We have any public comment on this item.
At this time, if you'd like to make public comment on this item, please notify the staff liaison by using the raise hand feature at the bottom of your Zoom screen. If you're dialing in, you can use *9 to engage the raise hand function. If you not today.
Would wish to make a motion to approve.
I'll move to approve minutes.
Everybody say.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor to approve the June 26th meeting minutes. Roll call vote. Commissioner Grant, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vice Chair Joshua,
Yes.
Commissioner Lee,
Yes.
and Commissioner Shannon.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously.
It's G1 BHCC updates. If we could draft it in the item, then we'll have.
Thank you, Vice Chair. So this is a review and comment item, just an informational item tonight. So for the Bellhaven Community Campus operational update. So a few key items here. The grand opening celebration was on May 20th. There were about 2,000 attendees. The event included public speeches, ribbon cutting ceremonies, self-guided tours, activities, entertainment, and those that attended received souvenirs and informational brochures. The next item is a presentation. So May 22nd, the Joint Library and Parks and Recreation Commission meeting, the staff of Bellhaven Community Campus provided a presentation on all that is happening as far as programs and services that occurred. And then there is some program statistics in your staff report for the campus. Some things of note for the statistic, the hyperlocal residents are strongly represented in our statistics that we've gathered so far. Let's see, 67% of the participants in recreation classes are hyperlocal. Senior classes, 58% of the participants are hyperlocal. And then the youth center, 61%, and those are programs that actually take in fees that are represented. Hyper and some additional data. Additionally, for the pool and hyperlocal usage, we are getting some heavy attendance there. Let's see, open swim and family swim, there's 80% hyperlocal, lap swim, 26 hyperlocal, and then let's see, and that's in total just a huge showing for hyperlocal residents. Next, for beyond that, Juneteenth celebration occurred on June 15th. There was about 300 participants that were at the Bellhaven Community Campus for that event. There was cultural entertainment, live music, resource information, and spoken word and food vendors. Suggestion box, so on a monthly basis or thereabouts, we collect suggestions from the box. We gather those and put those into electronic version and respond back based on the comments staff respond back to those. So that box is available at the center. Building safety and security, the building is open 7 days a week. Staff is available to oversee the building and in various spaces of the building. That staff is trained for supervising activities and ensuring safety and security of the building, staff, visitors, and property. Just want to point that out. There has some questions about security and safety for the building. Lastly, the Senior Center Lunch and Learn. There have been some opportunities available for the senior program and seniors coming to lunch and learning more about the senior programs and everything that's going on at the senior program. And the last lunch and learn we had on June 20th had about 65 people in attendance. So a lot happening for Bellhaven Community Campus. That's and the updates for that.
Thank you very much, Tricia.
Sure.
If you have any public comment on this item?
At this time, if you'd like to make a public comment on this item, please notify the staff liaison by using the raise hand feature at the bottom of your Zoom screen. If you're dialing in, you can use *9 to engage your raise hand function. No public comment.
Open to discussion. Questions, comments?
I noticed there was a lot of lunches being served at the senior center. That's great. In your statistics later on in the report. But I did see at least one comment about are the seniors that were at the senior center group was here, are they finding the senior center at the new location? And is there any way to measure that, or I don't know?
I guess we could, except that you don't really, it would be a little anecdotal because we don't require people to sign in for the lunch. They just come and eat the lunch.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we had picked up some new senior attendees when the lunch program was here at the Burgess campus. And we've had some questions from members of the public about how do we get over to the programs at the other side. There's the daily shuttle that picks up right here in the Burgess campus and goes over. So that's a good question. I can ask the senior program staff, like sort of what they've noticed, if they saw a drop off or something, or a whole bunch of different faces or something, we can ask them and report back.
Okay.
But I haven't heard that there's been a huge drop off or change in the number or the makeup of the seniors now that we've opened at the campus. I don't know if you have anything.
Beyond the lunch program, as far as making their way, thank you for asking. There have been some comments about the program that did exist here and the opportunity of getting over to Bellhaven and it being a challenge. So we are working on programs and making sure that we're starting some programs, continuing one program at least for the seniors that aren't joining it here for Burgess campus and Ariagas. Yeah, and we're looking to build that a bit more, as far as general recreation programs availability, so, yeah.
How often does
The shuttle, how often does the shuttle go? I don't. is
I
that
think it's,
mostly-
it's hourly,
Oh, okay.
but it's not all day long. Let me see if I can find the shuttle schedule for you online and I can send it back out to the commission. It's linked on the city's website, the shuttle schedule. It's also right there if you want to walk out after the meeting, take a look. It's on the pole by the shuttle stop. It doesn't run all day, but it was originally designed to be sort of a shopper shuttle, so it runs from Bellhaven through Burgess. Over to Stanford Shopping Center, I think, but or maybe it's up to Sharon Heights Shopping Center and then back. So that the thing that sort of restricts it is the length of the trip. And so I think it's about an hour with all the stops, but I can find out and let you know about it.
Trish, can you just remind?
Sure, so hyperlocal is for residents of Bellhaven or those that attend school in the Bellhaven school area. And it's 35% of the price of the activity typically.
Used to be the shot, I was talking to Harriet, the senior center director. She's got a great bulletin board in the center over there, like where all the shuttles go, what the schedules are. So I'll just, maybe I'll mention her, she could try posting that here, so the seniors can actually see that sitting
Yeah,
in Burgess Center.
support that also. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, she's great. She's just got, I love it. She just like, oh, the seniors tend to congregate over here, so that's what the bulletin board is. It's nice to have stuff on paper for older people like me that don't.
Yeah, any other questions or comments? Moving on to G2 library. Dates happening reconstruction to this item.
Sure, so just another informational report for you tonight, our the updates. We do have our June statistics for you in the packet. Just another comment about our suggestion box and the availability of our suggestion box. Like I said, we do capture those suggestions and report back on the responses. 4th of July celebration and family swim day on the 4th of July here at Burgess Park. We had a parade and carnival style event for all to enjoy. There were about 1,500 people in attendance. In addition, swimming for both Burgess and Bellhaven was $4 for the day. So a lot of people enjoyed being able to swim and beat the heat in the pool. Very hot activity or day for this year. Summer concerts in the park. The first concert began July 10th. With a live performance by Buster Groove in Fremont Park, and the concert series goes until August 14th. The Wednesday night concerts are at Fremont Park, and the Kelly Park concerts are being held on Fridays. And there's a little postcard with all of the information, and additionally, it's on the website. Finally, the Summer Olympics opening ceremony viewing party is going to be held this Friday at the Gymnastics Center at 2:30. So any of those of you that would like to attend, that's something else that's happening. And they are decorating house. Exciting. Our updates.
Thank you. Tricia, Ashley, do you have any comments?
At this time, if you'd like to make a comment on this item, please notify the staff liaison by using the raise hand feature at the bottom of your screen. If you're dialing in, you can use star line to engage the raise hand. No.
Any questions? Okay, yes, there are no questions. Let's move on to the next G3, which is the tentative agenda. Reintroduction to the same.
So this is our tentative agenda that we look at monthly. Just a quick review. Graph where you could make some comments if there's something you'd like to see. Do we have the agenda? Please, thank you. Great, thank you. So tonight we're doing, the prep for the plan and we looked at park playground equipment coming up. We're looking at parks policy enforcement for August. Let's see, city-run dog parks in September, youth advisory committee, October. And then we'll go through the end of the year.
Okay.
If there's any
Which is the joint meetings.
December 18th is what I see on here.
Yeah, I think you're probably gonna see a little more of that kind of bifurcation again now between the library and the Parks and Rec Commission, since we're not as heavily involved in planning and reviewing items for the Haven Community Campus. We've got our own sort of separate corrals a little bit more now than before. There still will be some crossover ones. And undoubtedly, there'll be another check-in joint meeting on the community campus, probably in the spring, I would guess. We're gonna be busy with pickleball and and parks and rec issues, so.
Thank you. Should we have any comment from you?
At this time, if you'd like to make a comment on this item, please notify the staff liaison by using the raise hand feature at the bottom of your student screen. If you're dialing in, you can use *9 to engage the raise hand function. No public.
Should we have any comment?
So, actually, Walton had a question about down 3 Parks and Rec Commission members and city council has been voting them. When do we want to, I guess, I propose we need to elect a new chair. It's great that you're vice chair, maybe you want a chair. But I just want to throw that out there. I wonder if we want to put on the agenda a vote for chair, vice chair, or chair, whatever. How does that? Yeah, what's the council's schedule for?
Adding them, I'll take a look real quick at their schedule to see if I can find out. But I know I've seen the advertisements. There are several vacancies citywide on commissions. It's just that ours is the lucky one now that has the most vacancies. So they usually try to kind of bundle them together so that they can advertise and then have the council make appointments at once. I think it's coming in August, but I don't know the date exactly, so I can look at the date.
Are we to assume that there are no candidates at this point?
No, that's the city clerk advertises it, is the clerk's office advertises vacancies across the commissions. I know I saw some things on like local social media, like in Menlo and things. So I have a vacancy on the library commission as well, and I've got a couple of calls about that. So I know the word is getting out there. I'm just not sure the exact date when the application period closes and then the council makes the appointments. But I can check in and let you know.
That'd be great. And I also wonder if we can get any feedback from the city clerk as far as at some point, how many applications we're getting. So if we know, like, we've only got 2 applications, we really need to get out there and recruit more.
Oh, she'll know, yes.
Okay, good.
You don't have to worry about that.
With that many vacancies, can quorum be reduced?
No, I think the quorum is still the same because the membership level for the commissions is already set in the city council policy. So each commission has a certain number of members set, so the quorum is based on that number.
One of us.
All right.
Right now, when you're, yeah,
My neighbor was actually interested, but didn't get chosen for the commission. Are we reaching back out to those people?
that's you.
If I see them, I'll let them know. But
Yeah, I will mention it to the city clerk's office that they could go back and reach out, and often they do.
Great.
But I'm giving them a little tickle.
I did look real quick, it looks like August 27th.
August 27th.
Yeah.
Thank you. Great. Okay. And they have gone at times, to the point of, folks who apply for a commission but don't get it. the council will then ask them if they would be interested in serving on a different commission that they didn't apply for, because that again has happened recently with one of the new library commissioners who had applied for, I think, Finance and Audit Committee and didn't get appointed. But they asked him at the meeting if he would be interested in serving on the library commission, and he said yes. So we got a new library commissioner that way.
Do we have any impediment right now to the 24th? Or next meeting? Where anyone would have a problem, right?
Oh, I see.
If you have a problem with it right now, we can just look at it right now.
Yeah,
Or
no,
3 days.
I'll be here, so yeah.
And Trisha or Ashley will send out a probe Thursday before the meeting going, hey, we got a meeting coming up. Maybe we'll send it out a little earlier this
Yeah,
month,
yeah.
just to kind of make sure, because it is summertime and people's plans change. But the idea is not to pester you guys, but to, if you know there's going to be a conflict, do let us know as early as you can, and that way we will know and can put out a notice so we don't. So we can plan for some of these other issues, and so the public is aware of whether there's going to be a meeting or not.
Any commission would like to make sure to interest to the entire.
Oh, actually, before I can go back to the agenda. One more, I just wanted to maybe put on the agenda at some point in time, just the pickleball feasibility study, just an inquiry. When I think it looked like Director Reinhardt was pursuing that. He made the last presentation of Parks and Rec in mid-November last year. Things I'm interested in are just the ideas of where to put pickleball in other places. How things are going with the current pickleball court. There was discussion of noise issues as well, noise mitigation. So anyway.
That sounds great.
So I was just thinking maybe the November meeting, which has nothing on the agenda, might be a good point.
I think that might have been kind of the thought. I think the idea with the feasibility study is we're hiring a consultant, an outside consultant to kind of do the study, which is a little more in-depth, takes a little more time than the staff have time to fit in with their regular duties. So it's figuring out how to slot that in. But it would be probably relatively easy in either August or September, just to give a staff update. That's not
Yeah.
difficult.
We have to do it all in one. We could have updated where things are, and then the results of the feasibility study would be months after.
They're getting coarse and corrupt tonight. That's really nice. Okay, noted.
Any other commission reports, any other commission that's like to make consent? X.
Okay.
Meeting is adjourned. 21. It is.
Thank you all.